Hey everybody, it's me, Pete. I'm the pastor at Crosswalk Community Church, and just want to give you today's update. I don't know if I'll do this every day, probably not, but this one got some stuff I wanted to tell you. First thing is, today is the first day of spring, meaning yesterday was winter, today is spring. I know we got a long way to go until we're over this COVID-19 thing, but I just want to let you know today is the first day of spring. So get out there and breathe some fresh air and enjoy this because even though we don't have our 80-degree temps yet, we know it's coming. And same thing with this COVID-19 thing. We're in it right now. It feels kind of cold, but a new day's coming. So just hold on to that hope. Second thing I want to do is encourage you. I'm going to challenge you actually to, I don't know exactly how to make this sound cool, so I'm just going to kind of throw it out there. But every time you have a meal today, I don't care if it's a snack or your breakfast or your lunch or your dinner, here's what I want to encourage you to do. Say a prayer that we will get out of this COVID-19 thing sooner than later. And when you do that, there's some actual structure to this. At least in my book, I don't look at God as a genie in a bottle that just waves a magic wand and wipes bad things out. Otherwise, that would have happened already. There's a complexity to that and a sophistication, I think, largely beyond understanding. But here's what you can do. So 3 times a day, at least, I'd like you to first, before you eat your food, just be grateful. Be grateful you have breath in your lungs. Be grateful that you're about to eat something, because that's still a pretty novel thing for the whole world. And it also sets our mind right. And then the second thing I'd like you to do is just to acknowledge that we got this problem called COVID-19 that we're after, and we're trying to be against it. And the third thing I'd like you to do is just to admit that it is scary as hell. And we're not exactly sure where it's all going to go, physically, financially, historically, the whole thing. Sometimes just admitting that there is a real problem and that we have strong feelings about it is a step in the right direction. And then this next piece is just to make a statement, and I'm saying this in a kind of a clumsy way because not everybody's comfortable with the idea of prayer, because that connotes the idea of a theology and a God that you may or may not agree with. So if you got to coin this as good vibes or sending good thoughts out into the universe or prayer or whatever, do that. But be aware that there is a flow that is good. And in the emerging Christian tradition, we might call that our ground of being, or the Spirit of God, which is always about renewing and moving us forward in wellness and health and all that. So pray that you will be a part of the wellness that will eradicate COVID-19. And when you do that, you're asking that whatever this higher power thing is that we call God would be active, as I believe already is, in helping scientists, helping first responders, helping everybody deal the best way forward so we can get over this thing sooner. But it also has personal ramifications for you and I to be a part of that process. So we're part of the solution and not the problem, not to be cliche, but seriously, that we're going to take the precautions seriously. We're going to do wise things with our lives, and we're going to share with people because not everybody has enough toilet paper, okay? And they might also need something else. So just be aware of who you're around and look after each other. One thing I was kind of proud of, it only took me 2 years to pull off, but I finally put together a cul-de-sac contact list so that if anything was happening with my little neighborhood, we could easily reach out to each other. And they all really appreciated it. So if you haven't done that, why don't you do that today? And stay 6 feet away, of course, but do that because that's one way of caring and just sowing love into the world, which really is the only thing that's going to get us through this. So please do that. So you're praying 3 times a day for every meal, and you're just praying that you're going to be a part of the flow, and you're praying that God or higher power or ground of being, spirit, whatever, universe is doing good things and lots of people to bring about health and healing. And then the final thing is this Sunday, on 3 different platforms, Crosswalk's website, on our homepage, on our YouTube channel, and also on our Facebook page, we'll be offering a service. We're going to dial back a little bit and show you the song and meditation that was offered a couple weeks ago, the last time we held our service, because they did a great job, and I want you to see that. But also for the teaching portion, you'll hear from me next week, right back into our Ancestors series. I'm going to be talking about King David, and there's actually some really relevant stuff in his life for what we're dealing with right now. But this week, I interviewed Tom Ord. Tom Ord wrote a book called God Cant. And that may be a little disturbing title at times like this, but actually tune into this interview. Especially those of you who've had a hard time with theology the way that you grew up, or that genie in the bottle kind of an idea, or if you've ever heard yourself saying things like, oh, there must be a good purpose for this, and that's why God is doing this, or God's just allowing this, but God's not causing it, these kinds of things. I found Tom Ord's book so refreshing and helpful, and I think you'll find this interview refreshing, and helpful too. And at the very end of the interview, he gives just some great wise counsel on how do we pray at times like this. If we don't think that God can unilaterally just wipe stuff out, otherwise God would have done that already, then how do we pray? And what does it mean to pray? And I think you're going to find it just so good and helpful. So tune in 10 o'clock Sunday morning on our website, our Facebook page, or our YouTube channel, and check that out. We're going to make it a premiere, so it won't start before that. There will be some chatting opportunities, I think, on 2 of those platforms for you to do stuff, and I hope you'll tune in. But for now, stay well, be wise, and I look forward to seeing you soon in the flesh, and hopefully I'll see you online this Sunday at 10 a.m. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.